Alright, so uh, I just figured I would make a quick video about how to run this Temple of Anubis, Orisa, Junkrat, like Widow strat or whatever, right? Because apparently people don't know what this strat is or how to rotate on it. I understand why. Not everybody is, like an analytic person like I am, so and like the rotations aren't like super obvious, and like the purpose for running all these heroes isn't like extremely obvious on surface level. But I just assume that everybody knows this strat because it's been being played since fucking last year, and people still run it against goats. And I honestly think that this is still a completely viable strategy against goats, and that we should just be running it. Um, and yeah, basically, so the entire strat is kind of just revolved around Junkrat building Riptire. That's kind of what it was revolved around in dive meta as well. And basically, like with dive, they would they would have like a Winston Diva instead of goats, and they would have Genji Tracer, um, and either Mercy Zen or Lucio Zen. And basically, you would save. You would just try to spam wherever you can. A lot of the time, they would have the DPS go through here, and they would have maybe like a Genji go up through here and like contest the Widowmaker or something like that. And they would like Control Z, okay, um, and just do stuff like that, and just get behind them, maybe come up here and try to poke the tanks, and that's just uh, like the entire point of it to beat this strat was just like farm your blade if you can't win without your your ults or whatever. Nowadays, if you were to run dive into this, it'd probably just be a Sombra instead of the Tracer, and you would probably do Nano Blade instead. But basically, what's so good about this comp is that you sort of have two win conditions versus the Nano Blade. Um, well, not the Nano Blade, but just a regular blade at least. So, like, if you don't have the Nano, you can use Trance against it, of course. It's an obvious counter. But then the other thing is that you have the Rip Tire. And you don't just like willy nilly use the fucking Rip Tire whenever you want to. You use the Rip Tire to counter the blade. And you position your Zen and your Junkrat in different spots when you know that they have it. Um, and you just basically use it to shut down the Zen, or sorry, to shut down the Genji, and you just kill the Genji with the Riptire, just solo ult him, because he's just gonna kill your whole fucking team if you don't. But against goats, I mean, it's really the same thing, except like you get your Riptire every fight if you're smart enough. And I know that Cheesy is a really good Junkrat, and he understands like how to spam and how to get his Riptire very quickly. Um, thank God I don't need to coach him on Junkrat. He's just competent enough to understand how to play him, because a lot of the strat is kind of revolved around it. But basically, you have your trap over here. Pretty sure Cheesy already knows that as well. And you typically have a mine there. And if nothing else, this is just like free damage. And so if Goats rotates... Oh, that's not what I want to do. It's this, right? So if Goats rotates into here, or like we'll just say that it's here, you have the Orisa pole come out and pull them out. Excuse me? You have the Orisa pole and pull some people over here so that Cheesy can get more spam onto them. And just the entire thing is literally just like build Riptire, and Riptire is your win condition, and the goal is to get Riptire every single fight. Um, and we're gonna want Cheesy to have a mine at his feet. So if you have a mine like already placed down at your feet, you can, so obviously after you have the like you have the mine over here, and then if you get a kill with that, then great. If you don't, then well, I mean, that's your first mine, then your second mine is going to be over here after this happens, basically. And you can use this mine to jump onto this high ground or jump onto this high ground, and so that if goats rushes you, you still get good poke damage. Or sorry, you don't run the risk of like your Junkrat dying. And basically, we have the Zen on this high ground because I mean, goats kind of can't access him, and basically the rotation is if excuse me, if goats comes up this way like we're talking about, then is there an eraser? No, this is not what we want. This is what we want. So if goats comes up here, we rotate our Zen back this way. And we rotate all of our other people over here as well. We want Diva to be defense matrixing, the fire strikes, and the, I mean, honestly, the Junkrat can just like jump up to here. And you could probably have the Widow rotate to over here to get better angles. Because this is a, if they're over here, then this is just like a much better sightline for Widow. I mean, you could even have the Junkrat over here as well if you wanted to. Sure, whatever, I'll just leave it there. But I mean, it's, the rotations aren't like mega complicated. They're just not, I guess they're not as obvious to other people who don't understand or whatever. And then obviously like you have the Orisa here, and then you move the shield from here to here, and then you just play on the bridge, and you slowly, basically, I mean, if they've made it to over here, like if you've seen that they are, if you see that they're here and they're like walking into here, you probably want to begin rotating like around when goats is like around here, because they're probably going to be stabilizing their cooldowns over here, and so you want to rotate. So you start with everybody up in this area. Once you see that they're in this area, you rotate to where we are right now. And then once you see that they begin engaging, or like that they're, sorry, that maybe they're here or whatever. Like once you see them start coming in through here, you rotate to point. And obviously, like you have your Zen come like all the way back here. You have the Orisa play to basically just contest point. And if all goes well, I mean, you basically just so like I think people underestimate how quickly the Riptire is going to be farmed. Because like if they're here, like GZ should probably have Riptire by now, and then you just kill them. And like that's not even including the fact that we could have Zan get one or two or three like multiple picks onto their backline, depending on how well they're shielding and stuff like that. Also a ton of poke damage from the Junkrat, like plus the Widowmaker. The Widowmaker can finish off kills and things like that. The Mercy needs to be with the Junkrat like as often as possible for damage boost. And I mean, I feel like Discord targets are pretty much the same. Like you basically just have it, excuse me, like on Rhine or Brigida, or if I mean if the Diva decides to come up here and get this a Junkrat, or come up here and get this the Widow, or just fly up and like feed against the Zen when he's up here or something like that, then you Discord the Diva. But or the Lucio, same thing there, just to get him out. But other than that, I mean, it's generally the same thing. Just kind of put it on whoever is low or who's ever taking a lot of damage. Um, because I mean, actually, I mean, something worth noting is that, well, actually, no, it's actually no. Something worth noting is that um, Discord plus we actually have two. So there's certain like damage drop off points in Overwatch, and a really, really, really big one is 120. And the reason is because of the way that it works with damage boost and Discord orb. So, um, I'm actually not sure. They might have nerfed this. I actually want to check this out. Calculator 120 times 1 point, or yeah, it would be times 1.3, and then times 1.25. No, it's actually only 195 now. It used to be with the 30% damage buff from Discord Orb that you could hit, I think it was 205 damage. You would hit 205 damage if the target was discorded and you hit them with a Pharaoh Rocket, which is 120 damage, or a Junkrat grenade, or a Widow Body Shot fully charged, because they're all 120 like damage points, and it does 205 damage if you have a damage boost and a Discord Orb like on the target. So it's something worth noting. It currently, I mean, it's going to do 125 damage after the Discord nerf, but it's still an absolute boatload of damage. And honestly, uh, well, D.Va would like rotate back here. Actually, no, D.Va would probably just stay on the high ground. Probably does have D.Va stay on the high ground. Maybe over here. Maybe a D.Va over here just to get some spamming. Um, Keep them on their toes and those kinds of things. D.Va's main job here is kind of just to defense matrix and body block. It's not really to get damage though. Um, but yeah, and then let's go over if they go a different way. Right, so this is, I mean, this setup right here, I mean, this is actually called Jonak's spot right here because he was like the first Zen that would be positioned up there. The way you get up here is you jump on this little tarp here and then you jump up here. And the reason it's good is because it gives you um, line of sight. So basically everybody just, oh, that's not what I want to do. Everybody pretty much walks up these stairs right here, and this spot gives you line of sight onto the stairs. Like it's a very like direct thing. Yes, it does go through this wall, and it does give you line of sight into the stairs. And you can get, I mean, if they're like not expecting it, you can actually get like a really nice volley and get a pick. I've done it before. Um, So that's a really big thing with that. Also, it gives you like an extra high ground, and it's I think it's a better spot to play than up here because you're just too damn far away to get peeled for. And if you're up here or if you're back here, this is even worse to get peel. Like I think that this is a fine spot to play if you think like if you're on like ladder or something and you're getting dove and it's like too easy to dive you over here or something. But I honestly just think that this is like objectively the best position for a Zen to be. Um, I would just have the Zen play over here if he could get up there, like if he had mobility, but he does not. And like the rotations for the Zen when he's in either of these two spots are just so bad. So I think that that's the best position. But let's just talk about what to do if they go elsewhere. So let's just say that they rotate through here and they go onto point, or if they rotate over here and go onto point. Um, so once again, I mean the thing with this is like I almost think that this is even like a worse rotation because like they are gonna use. I mean, they're probably gonna amp speed to run through here, and they're gonna be defense matrix and stuff like that. But by the time they get over to like by the time that they get onto the point, Cheesy's probably already gonna be like 50% to rip tire. So this is another thing. If you see that they are here, Cheesy probably knows this actually, but I'm just gonna reiterate it. If you see that they're rushing over here, I would say move the trap from here to like here or whatever. Like, just walk over and just like throw it down on the ground. Um, or just walk over. I mean, you could theoretically walk over here. It depends how fast your reactions are. It depends how quickly you read the situation and see that they're speeding over here and stuff like that. But either way, have it just stick a trap like under the bridge and try to kill them, try to get some spam on them and those kinds of things. Also, if they're doing this, um, you can freely use your concussion mines into them to get good splash damage. Also, same thing with the Orisipol. You can actually use the Orisipol to like split the team here in a way. So like, if they're rushing over here, and let's just say that they're like speeding this way, use the pull right here so that as they come this way, you have maybe like one or two of them come back here, and Cheesy throws a concussion mine and some grenades and shit into it and gets a ton of spam and maybe even gets a kill. Also, if you pull them upwards, this is obviously a 2D render of the map, but if you pull them upwards, you can provide like good line of sight for the Widowmaker to potentially get a pick onto them, onto like a squishy. So it's actually, if you can, Ryan, try to prioritize getting squishy targets into the Erisipols, because I mean, Evil Toaster's like talked about this with his like Orisa tip video that he did with like CarQ, but like basically if you pull them in the air, and you probably already know this, so I'm not trying to like sound condescending or anything, but like if you pull them into the air, it puts them in like two predictable movements, which is like the first one is like it goes up, and the second one it goes down. So it provides like two predictable movements for Zan to get a kill on them, which is a huge deal. So just that there, and this, I honestly think that this is even easier to rotate because you literally just fucking move the Orisa over here, and the Mercy back here, the Junkrat over here, and you just have the Devo just contest point, and like you're just gonna get a ripped tire eventually. I don't know. I mean, you probably want the Junkrat to jump up here actually, and this is kind of like a King's Row thing, where that's not what I want to do. Basically, I mean, I can explain the rotations of like a Diva and Orisa. Um, so you'd have the Orisa over here, and you'd have the barrier, something like this, and just spamming into them, calling the pulls, so Junkrat and Widowmaker can get kills and stuff like that. Zen does not need to reposition either. That's another big thing, is that Zen does not need to reposition. I mean, you just move over here, forehead. And you just get like free spam onto them because they're not playing around cover like at all. They also don't have access to this mega if they rotate this way, and The only downside is that you don't have your Orisa contesting the point because your Orisa is gonna kind of just get farmed. What's good? Um, so at this point, we want, at least I think, we want our Mercy over here healing the D.Va, and we want our Harmony Orb on the D.Va as well because the D.Va is contesting the point, and that's generally how you do it with like an Orisa D.Va combination. Once the D.Va gets to maybe 200 HP, we're gonna have D.Va fly out, and we're gonna have the Orisa drop. And at this point, I think it's okay to give up a tick or something like that. Um, but the other thing is like they know that this is coming, and you need to build Riptire as fast as possible, and like they need to die. They need to fucking die. Um, but I can easily see us getting Riptire very quickly because I think Cheesy is a competent Junkrat. But I mean, same thing goes here. We need the Harmony when the D.Va flies out. We need the Mercy Beam on the Orisa, and we need the Discord, or sorry, not the Discord, the Harmony on the Orisa. Unless the D.Va is like super fucking low. Um, but like whoever's contesting point against goats, uh, needs the healing. Also, another thing actually, um, if D.Va's contesting point over here, you can throw the Orisa shield to here to help the D.Va. That actually will help her a lot. Because the point is like spawn points. Is there nothing that shows the point? What is this? Spawn points. No, that's not what I want. Scoff, dude. I thought that there was something that showed the point. Okay, I guess not. I'm pretty sure the point is something like this, though. And you just had the D.Va in the corner and just put the Orisa shield over here. Now, if they have... I was going to erase all of this. So if they have... let's delete Ryan. Do I... How do I delete you? I thought I could just right click and delete you. Okay. I was gonna improvise. So let's say that they have a Winston instead. If they have a Winston instead of the Rhine, and they're going for a dive, let's just say they're going for a dive, right? So it'd be like the Winston and the D.Va. You would reposition the trap top here, and you'd back up a little bit, but you honestly don't even need to give up that much space. What's important is that we have our Mercy fly out because the Winston is going to be getting a lot of cleave damage onto the Mercy, and we just kind of can't afford to like have her taking all of that damage. I mean, if they do try to dive this, it's pretty poor because you have like at most a 3-man dive crew, and you honestly don't even get that much damage. Like the Brig is kind of useless, and Zen's just shooting the Orisa shield the whole time, and honestly, same thing with Zarya. And especially if our D.Va is defense matrixing, there's no way that they win this. But yeah, just like move the trap over here, and Uh, I don't know. I just don't see goats being the strat. I feel like the strat is still dive, like just regular dive against this. Like if we play it well enough, I feel like it's still just the better strat. I don't know. I'm just gonna end the video here.